Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to High Top Golf. And my golly, what a weekend. Oakmont delivered. Like, I think most of you psychopaths wanted them to. When I say this, I'm not usually the biggest one that's all in for these guys just get absolutely just ripped to shreds 4 days in a row. But I know there's a group out there that enjoys it, and Ty is one of them. So I know he enjoyed it. Look, it made for a fantastic Sunday. I'll tell you that. We'll get into it. We'll talk about the Rory drama, the Wyndham Clark drama. I've got a take on that, and then just the collapse of the entire field and JJ Spaun just putting his nuts on the table and just delivering like no joke. So I was saying, I'm not a JJ Spaun fan, and I think it's funny because Ty is getting mad. He's like, "Why don't you like JJ Spaun?" Ty likes everybody. And I think you have to have somebody you don't like that. I feel like that's what makes a sport great. When you just like you're just finding everybody to cheer for. Like in NASCAR, like I hate Joey Logano. Like that's what makes it fun is when you've got people that you despise. And I don't despise JJ. He's just a square. Like he's just boring. I watched one of his interviews with the players. I was like, he just rubbed me the wrong way. Wasn't a fan. Like I don't have to give like this valid reason. It just wasn't sexy enough for me. And I didn't want him to win. I was like, this thing is supposed to be the hardest golf course in the world. The conditions are out of this world. I want a dogfight with the greats. we didn't get nowhere near that. But
they got smoked.
him draining that 100-foot putt at the end there put me to bed immediately. That guy to shoot under par, to have someone finish under par when it was set for no one to finish, incredible finish.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, I don't like everyone. I don't hate anybody, but I don't like everyone. I don't know why the hatred for JJ Spaun. Like, I mean, the dude has literally come from nothing. I mean, he was a walk on. He wasn't supposed to be anything. He walked on to San Diego State, and then all of a sudden he's on tour, and he's like a mediocre on tour guy. And then this year, he just got his head right and put everything into his golf game, and now he's kind of runner up with the players, and now he's got a U.S. Open victory. I just don't. I can't hate a guy who puts all the effort into being really, really great, and he doesn't have the attributes that these star players have, and he still gives it all he's got. I respect guys like. I'm sorry.
I feel like that's the entire tour. They all worked. They all grinded. I mean, there's maybe
that's not true. I can tell you that's not true.
I don't feel. I mean, like, look, these cats. Like, sure, they probably came a little more, but I don't think JJ Spaun was on the side of the road with his tin cup collecting pennies. Okay, he chose between a tennis and this. I mean, the guy's country club boy through and through. I don't feel like he was grinding to get here. He grinded through some mental capacities and dealing with the game. Yes, like every golfer we saw this weekend go through. Look. I don't hate the guy. I like for people, like I like cheering against because I like my guys to win. Spawn's not one of my guys.
You want a bigger personality. I get it.
Yeah,
you wanted a bigger.
Yeah, I need a little more juice. Even when he won it, like the guy had no clue what was going on. Like I was like, dude, give me something. Like,
he threw his putter in the air.
It just, I don't know.
His putter went flying.
We're getting nitpicky. It doesn't matter. He won me over. It was an awesome putt. Love how it ended. It really ramped up to be an awesome Sunday. I was disappointed in Adam Scott. Was really hoping he would pull one out. Victor played well. Tyler Hatton, I thought he was going to do something. I was excited to see how he.
I wanted him to win too.
Yeah, I think the big winner though was Oakmont. I mean, I think it really lived up to the expectation. Day one, people were going to firing off 4-unders, 5-unders, and I'm texting you. I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is the easiest course ever known to man. And sure enough, it made its mark. I could.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Relax. Woosah. It's day one. Everybody calm down. It's day one. Relax.
I hated it though. I got to be honest with you. Outside of the last 9 holes and last hour and a half, it wasn't fun for me. Like I'm not a huge fan of watching these guys get kicked in the nuts relentlessly like that. It doesn't fire me up. Like I know from someone who plays it, when you hit a good shot and the course just absolutely just takes it away from you for no reason. It's every now and then it's fun. The Masters has the few kind of spots where it's like you kind of get in a rhythm and it'll catch you off guard. Like that's why I love the Masters. This course, like you had no clue stepping up to the tee. Like this may or may not be good.
Yeah, I mean so Oakmont is one of the toughest golf courses in the world, and it will always be one of the toughest golf course in the world, especially when they set it up like they did. Honestly, I'm gonna just This tournament was won and lost when the rain came and the tournament stopped. JJ Spawn had absolutely no momentum whatsoever. I think he bogeyed 5 of the first 6 holes. They were
Crazy.
riding him off. Nobody was even talking about him. And the other guys were struggling, but they weren't on that echelon. Like that, Burns was making a couple bogeys, didn't really make anything. But as soon as the weather came, it's like Spawn went in and had like a pep talk with himself, and he came back out and he played probably the best golf we've seen all week. He hit a drive on 17 that was just absolutely pured. I mean, he could in that situation. You got to give him the credit with that drive he hit because there's a lot of places you can hit the ball and not make birdie. He had about a 18-footer for eagle,
Could have been eagle.
tap in birdies. Yeah, I mean, and then he just drains a 64-footer. He deserved to win, but Burns lost it on 15 when he asked for a ruling. And they denied him the ruling, and he wasn't happy about it. Two guys
Rightfully
came
so.
by and said, I also kind of agreed with Sam Burns on this one. I understand that the rule is when he takes his stance, they need to see standing water. But when you swing your club and the water is slinging off of your practice swing, I think there's a problem.
He was
But
swimming.
rules are rules.
He had to get his
Right.
floaties out to hit his ball. They should have moved it. Look, it was fun. It was cool watching those guys try to make that course hard every single day. I appreciate it for what it was, but like I said, it wasn't for me personally. Like I know people probably enjoyed it, and I think outside of that last 30 minutes, I mean, with JJ nutting up on 17, incredible shot, and then hitting that big birdie, really, I would say salvage the tournament in the sense of like, wow, that really came down to a finish because it was at the point where it kind of got ugly. It was just like, it was like watching a car crash. Like at that point on Sunday, I was kind of over it. For me, I wanted to see a little fire. I didn't want to see this hang on fest. I was cool with it early in the week. Cut the fat, right? Trim the fat. Let's get some dogs in here. Let's get after it. But it was, and look, maybe I might get thrashed for this take here. It just doesn't appeal to me as a viewer. But once a year though, you know what I mean? I get it. It was cool. I appreciate it. If it was every week, I'd be like, this is annoying.
I mean, once a year, yeah, and it's once a year. You like to see the guys struggle once a year, and that's fine. And you sit here, and Terrell Hatton made some great shots down the stretch, didn't make any putts. He had an opportunity, and he hit an absolute dart on 16. And I think if he makes that putt, I think things change. And then he got in trouble on 17, and just it all came down for Terrell. Spawn made the shots when he needed to make the shots, and he won. And then that's what you have to do in those situations. He was the only one that made the shots. Robert McIntyre made the shots.
Yeah,
He
go
just
to
came up a
him.
little bit short. I actually thought Bobby McIntyre played the best today. He was in total control, but Spawn down the stretch.
Yeah, it was like Spawn down the
I
stretch.
honestly think if it goes the distance without the rain, I think Robert McIntyre probably wins that thing in all truthfulness because he was hitting his ball great today, making the putts. But
He wasn't altered.
Spawn did what he had to do, and
Where do you
he
rank in the
won.
last 10 years for US Opens? Where do you place it? Last decade. That's like a tough question. Caught you off
Last
guard there.
decade. I mean, no. I mean, like I definitely I rank it one of the top one. I mean, I definitely think it's like one of the top 3. I mean, it came down to the finals. I know people aren't going to love it because like no big name was in it, but I mean, Bryson got smoked this week. All the top guys got smoked. If Scotty
Yeah.
could putt, if Scotty would have made any putts this week, he would have won, and he probably would have won about 2 under. He missed a lot of five footers, 2 footers, but hey, you got to make those. You got to keep concentration, and he just struggled with the putter. If Scotty putts anywhere half decent in this U.S. Open, he probably wins by 3. He just didn't putt well enough to win.
Look, for me, we as fans, I think you always want you want fun names to be up there. I think I think this tournament had them. I mean, I love the fact that Adam Scott was up there. Sam Burns is coming off of a burner. Sam Burns was somebody who was big last 2 years, right? Kind of fell off here like over the last 12 months and then started to pick it back up again. And you picked him last week to win and failed on that one, but close anyway. So two burners, 2 bad burners for Burns in the last 2 weeks, man. Tough
That
loss.
round 4 is getting him, but he played well in round 4 last week and came up short. This week
Yeah.
he had the lead and played awful. So maybe we'll find in the middle here sometime.
Tower Hatton, Victor Hovland, JJ Spaun. I mean, it was fun. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, those guys, I was like, any one of these guys, I would be like ecstatic to see them win. Like, this is kind of cool. to see these guys duke it out. I mean, obviously Adam Scott, he says he wouldn't be a legend unless he wins the second one. He's in the mix. Sam Burns, I think, is. And here's the thing with JJ Spawn. Maybe I'm old fashioned for this, but it's almost like you kind of like want the guy to earn the stripes, and like JJ is really kind of. I know he's been in for a while, but bursted onto the scene this year. It's like you kind of got to earn your stripes before you take a big one away. Sam, in my
He also
opinion, has earned those stripes to take a big one. I know that seems kind of weird, but that's just how I view these things. Victor, I love. I think he's done some great things. Tyler Hatton is. I mean, he's just great
he's
TV.
must-see TV. Yeah, he's
He's
must-see
must-see
TV.
TV. I love him. I love him.
It's just he lets you know, buddy, and everyone like at first everyone kind of hated him, but now everyone kind of likes him. They like his little takes and his little. He'll tell you when he missed it and why he missed it, and then even when he didn't, even when he like hits a bad shot, he'll find something wrong with the green or something. That's it's I can't just push the putt. I just
Did you hear his comment? He was like, "What I love is, this week you're seeing everybody get pissed, and now I'm just amongst the group versus I'm no longer an outcast because everyone's getting mad." Great take. I mean, it's so true. Like he seemed normal this week because of the temper tantrums we saw this week, and I do want to talk about a few of those after.
Oh, you
after
talk about Rory when he broke the tee? Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's talk about that one.
Well, we got Roy breaking tees, skipping interviews again. Then he interviews yesterday, is a douche the entire interview. And then Wyndham Clark apparently, allegedly, is smashing locker rooms after the fact. Did you see that?
I did. I missed that part, but
Yeah, so
it's
he was
you know
smashing locker rooms. And then Graham McDowell made a comment. He said, "This is minimal regards for what I've seen other players do. Players you would never expect. Oakmont will test many players' mental fortitude. Seen it in person. Guess who? 2016. I don't know who wasn't that DJ when that was in 2016 when he won.
he won 2016. Yes.
I guess he was trying to almost condemn Clark's actions. Here's my thing. I'm all for. I mean, as I've gotten older, I'm not a huge fan of throwing fits. More so now because I know when I do it, if my son sees it, then he thinks it's gonna be okay. So, but when I was younger, like I threw massive fits on the golf course. It was bad. Like it was, as we all have, as you were the other night when we were talking. They come out. And not too long ago, 2 weeks ago, I was in Georgia having a great time, and I was playing some atrocious golf. But I was like, "Look, we're having a great time on vacation. Course is beautiful. We played 36, about hole like 30. I chunked one, and at this point, I was kind of burnt, and I tomahawked one in there, and then I was like, that was stupid. Like I'm over here beating the
Yeah.
course up, and it's my fault. So I'm past the point where I don't like to do that. But at the same time, like I don't mind when like Hatton and these guys throw a little tomahawk, throw a little F bomb. Like those things don't bother me. They cuss at themselves. Like I do that. There's a line. There has to be a line. The line for me is you're smashing tee boxes. That's not your property. You're not breaking things. You're damaging things. As the number one player, that's what Rory did. On top of just what we've seen over the last month and a half, right? Like it's all being wrapped into one. Then Wyndham Clark, I think like a month ago, he tossed his club into one of the signs at I think it was the Travelers. I can't remember where it was. I'm trying to think of what the logo was. Into the sign, and then now he's breaking another piece of property. Like those to me are over the top of like there needs to be something done. And like again, I'm for fits. Like they're cool every now and then. This is dumb. Like you guys look like idiots.
Yeah. So I'm one of those people. Honestly, I get more frustrated when I'm practicing than I do on the golf course. Because on the golf course, I kind of know what and it's more that I'm trying to figure out how to fix those things, and that makes me more frustrated than when I'm on the golf course because that doesn't bother me, which is crazy to say. But I'm as cool as a cucumber on a golf course, but on the practice range, I'm losing my mind. It doesn't make any sense. But when it comes to these guys, first of all, Wyndham he in the past has been open about how he has struggled mentally. I
Yeah.
think he has fallen back into that trap.
Oh yeah.
He said his psychiatrist helped him a lot, and now I think he needs to go back to him or whatever he needs to do because his golf game has taken a hit. And before he bust onto the scene last year, he said that this was a problem, and then he had got it straightened out, and his golf game was in such a good spot because he had fixed it mentally. He hits it a mile. I mean, he hits it good. He has a great golf swing, but he's really hard on himself. Um, but you know, to get to the where you're frustrated when I get it. You're a golfer, you're a pro golfer, you want to make the US Open cut, you're a new US Open champion. But at the end of the day, everyone got beat up. I mean, it wasn't just you. Like, this is property of Oakmont. There's guys in there that go in that locker room every day, older guys that are members of Oakmont, and they're not in the, you're destroying the stuff that they work for. You know what I mean? Like that stuff. I get it. I like the passion, but there's an extreme to an extreme where you need to relax. And he is definitely over that threshold. And then when he comes to Rory, I'm starting to lose a lot. I used to defend him, and I'm just starting to lose a lot of respect for him. It just seems like I honestly think there's something personal going on because he was in such a good mindset when it came to the Masters, and even after. I mean, he just looked like he was walking, but now it's like he's not walking with a purpose anymore. And these guys are people too. So like there are so many things that go on and off in a golf course. And if you're not fully invested in it mentally on the course, you are going to get run over, especially at Oakmont. And the frustrations build up, and then that's what happens. So, you know, it could be mental, it could be personal, there could be a lot of things going on, but the way Rory has responded to like the media and things like that, saying he wants to stay away from them and blah 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 blah. I'm just kind. I hate. I'm not saying that Rory's going to retire, but man, it really feels like he's on the way out. It's weird.
Yeah, it does feel weird. And if you think about it, Tiger Woods was always labeled as a dickhead, but that was his identity. That was his aura. So nobody really cared when he did it because that's just he was like that from Jump Street. And so again, not condoning being an a-hole, but I feel like he may have gotten a little bit more away with it because one, he was doing it while he was winning. So you can be it's almost like excused when you're winning. When you're losing and you're being that, and when you're winning, you want to be everyone's best friend. It's like that. Nobody's a big fan of that. If you're just an a-hole, whether you're winning or losing, it's like, okay, that's just who he is. We don't care. We love him because when he wins, it's so fun to watch. Um, how he's been acting lately, yeah, you're right. It's like he won the hearts of everybody at the Masters in a matter of 2 months. It got everybody going, who, who is this guy? Like it's not fun
It
anymore, dude.
has flipped the switch. It's crazy. I mean, and that happens in golf. I mean, but it's more. It's just there could be something that we don't know, and it's kept away from the media, and it's things like that. I don't like to defend these guys because they get to play a game for a living that's awesome, and you get to enjoy your life. But like they're still people, and mental things go on. But when you're the face of PGA, you better block those things out, and you better start acting like it because breaking T markers and just treating everyone like because they ask you a negative question towards you, it's your job to turn that negative into a positive. I mean, that's kind of how this works.
And I mean, you give sound bites for every opposing, opposing question. So that's why they continue to ask you that. But I think about when the live thing was happening 2 years ago. He wanted to be in front of a mic, and we welcomed him. We promoted him, pushed his voice, backed his voice, and anytime he wanted to be in front of a mic, we were all there to listen and surrounded him. But now all of a sudden, he doesn't want to be around one, and we're like, we're used to you wanting to be around one, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
that's changed. So yeah, it's unfortunate just again because when you sit in that table at the Grand Slam table, you're looked at and appreciated at a different level. And it's one of those things where your heroes live long enough to become the villain. I said that about LeBron, right? It kind of just lasted too long to where
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
and you get too much of them, right? This is the kind of the aura of the Michael Jordans and even Michael Phelps. I put him into those categories, and of course Tiger Woods, and Kobe to an extent. These guys played at a time where the social media aspect wasn't there, so there was a
I was
cutoff.
about to bring that up. Yep.
Yeah,
You're
there's no
100%
cutoff
correct.
now for these guys. So we're getting like these guys may have played the same time, but we're getting much more of them at a level that we've never had before. So we're getting to see a lot of vulnerabilities that those other guys probably had. We just never was able to be exposed because it wasn't able to get out that way. If Tiger threw a fit or was an a-hole, you read about it in a newspaper clip. Much different, right? And then you heard about it at the
Correct.
water cooler. Like literally heard about did you hear what Tiger did? And we just like, oh, that's not a big deal. When you see someone be an a-hole, it impacts you a little more emotionally versus someone just telling you someone's being an a-hole. And I think that's the biggest
Not
thing.
only that, I mean, when you go back to Tiger's day, Tiger. made golf popular. So like in that time, golf
True.
wasn't as big as it is now. And like more people are playing it and more people are paying attention. And now everyone in their hand has a camera. I mean, everyone can videotape everything. I mean, the final putt, the US Open, everyone was videotaping the final
Yeah.
putt. I mean, it's just everyone has a camera. Everyone can look like an asshole. Like, I mean, whatever you want to do, like everyone can look that way on camera. And not only that, the media only posts the stuff they want you to hear. That's another thing that bothers me. They don't, you might not get the whole thing. I think that should be criminal too, because they might say things in there that, kind of defend on what they're saying, but you still don't hear it because they don't want you to hear it. They want to make them look bad.
They want
So
the hot
that
bite.
bothers me.
They want
Of
the
course.
headline. Yeah.
You
Look, I
want
mean,
the clickbait.
it's tough, but I think Rory has managed it well for this point. I can't really give him the benefit of the doubt of like, oh, it's new. Like, no, like this has been your life forever. Like you were born in the social media era. Let's talk about how our picks did. I think I'll go through my picks and then I'll let you go. Bryson laid an egg.
Wow. Ooh.
I don't,
He
dude.
said it
I
was his
don't.
favorite golf course.
I think he was just trying to say that to psych himself out, but he looked in shambles. Like he looked frustrated from day one. I was like, he doesn't look comfortable. I was nervous from the get go. I mean, he just didn't look like he could get himself going. Obviously, Scotty played well, so I can't really say that was as an L. But my other two big ones were, I mean, that big. Phil obviously didn't make the cut, choked it, and then Ludwig
Right at
was
the
kind
end,
of.
too. Right at the end.
Yeah, Ludwig was one that I was pretty high on, and he was crushing it day one. I was like, yeah, baby, and he missed the cut too. So those are my three big guys that I would say that I was high on. I was wrong / right about. We were both crushing on Shane Lowry. Like we couldn't have been more spot on. Of like, yeah, I know he's been playing well, and he was highly favored. I was like, this guy is going to explode this weekend, and sure enough, he did. Roy was what I thought he would do. He almost did even worse than what I thought he would do. I thought what Bryson did, he was going to do. But how did your guys do? I know for your fantasy picks.
Yeah, so actually, my fantasy team actually did well because I had Bobby Mack on it, but uh, got her up. My sleeper pick, a guy finished T23. He had a rough final day today, but I mean, who didn't? Like it was rough out there. So he finished T23. Got to give it up for him for that. Um, I had Bryson. I thought Bryson and Scotty were going to duel this thing out at the end, and Bryson he did not play well. And it was the thing that I said a couple shows back. His short game killed him, and I think it's because of how he sets his wedges. They are not made for that kind of rough and around the greens. I just he doesn't have a high enough loss for it to go through. He bends them in a weird way. I could be completely wrong on that, but it sure looked like his short game was on a struggle bus. Um, I had Harris English to make the cut. Harris English made the cut for the 10th time. He's now 10 for 10 making cuts in the U.S. Open.
He laid an egg on Saturday though. Wasn't that right?
Yeah, he did. He had a rough Saturday.
Saturday was tough.
He did make the cut though. You got to give it to him.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who else I had. I said we needed some cut makers. I wrote a whole article about it. I had 6 guys on there. I think they all did pretty well besides Bryson.
You had Burns.
I did. Yeah, Sam Burns was another one. I said we needed Price. Which, of course, he was leading until the final day, and I mean, he still finished top 10. So, I mean, once again, I was on Sam Burns because I have seen Sam Burns' game, and he's very close, and he's very close. If he decides to play this week at the Travelers, I would not steer away from him. His putter is red hot. He's hitting it well enough. He just got beat up by the rough today, and it's just everyone can get beat up at Oakmont, so don't look too much into that. I can tell you.
Take a listen to what Johnny Miller had to say about Bryson.
What qualities and aspects of your game do you think need to be especially sharp as we get into Saturday and Sunday here in the 2025 U.S. Open? What should we be looking for this week?
Still all about hitting that ball in the fairway. You see the guys that don't, like Bryson DeChambeau. I mean, he was living in the rough there this last couple days, and of course he gets to watch it on TV today. But yeah, you got to hit it in the fairway. But and
they clipped over to Jack, and Jack just giggling like, "Bro, an absolute just get dogged in the press conference. Just mind his own business, dude. Like, you can still Bryson still hasn't necessarily won over all the crowds yet. Just the way that he plays, it's not. it doesn't fit well with the old guys. That was kind of the vibe that I
Yeah,
got. Just
those guys don't like the way he's trying to change and innovate the game, and I like it personally because he's trying to do it a different way, and I'm okay with that. I don't. It doesn't bother me at all.
But I get it.
But
Old fashioned guys, they want you to, it's not about just how big you are and how far you can hit it. This course, I think they kind of like that his ego got torched a little bit of like, hey, you gotta respect the game and respect the course, and you can't beat the course. I think Bryson tried to think, hey, I can beat this course with my game versus trying to play to the course and let it come to him. And I think that's honestly, when you look at the names that were up there, like the Spawns, the Scotts, I think why they played so well is those guys don't have an ego. I mean, Tyler Hatton does, but like the Scotts, Victor Hovland, like they kind of just let the game come to themselves. They've always carried themselves that way. And now when I think about it, like I was trying to find a commonality with these leaders at the top, and like that's kind of what it was. Even Burns, they're not aggressive, kind of just killers, and that's why the course gave back to them versus the guys that are used to just just chomping at things, and the course will just kind of bend to their shop shape. This course didn't do that, and I think that's why they're able to thrive this weekend.
well, it obviously was important to find the fairway because if you didn't, it was almost a penalty. You almost had to chip out every single time. Even if you were in a fairway bunker, you almost couldn't get there ever. And it was lie dependent in the rough. I would say probably about 75% if you hit it in the rough, you were chipping out because you couldn't risk carrying it over the fescue or anything like that. So once again, finding fairways was super important. JJ Spawn putted the best out of anybody, gained more strokes putting than anyone. But yeah, I mean, when you sit back and you look, Bryson thought that he was going to play this like he played Winged Foot and just bomb it and find it. And I thought he could get away with it too because he's proved to me that he could do it. But USGA is catching up to it and they're making you play golf, which I love.
Yeah,
I think more courses. I think this is the way the setup needs to be. I'm not necessarily saying make it 5.5 inch rough on regular tournaments, but let's build the rough up. Let's make finding fairways more important instead of just bombing and gouging a golf course. And instead of rolling the ball back, if you hit it long and straight down the middle of the fairway, you should be rewarded. But if you are long and crooked, you should be penalized. I mean, that's how this game should be played. So they're talking about the golf ball rollback. I would rather courses just grow the rough out a little bit. Make it a little difficult. Like instead of
I like
having
that.
the ball
Yeah, like be
fluffed up the rough.
rewarded for hitting the ball straight. Because again, other courses you can just knock it up there. It's like it doesn't really matter. But I think it almost felt like every fairway or every hole was an island hole. Because like you said, if you roll into the rough, it might as well just be you should just drop, just play an unplayable and pull it to the same fairway. Like it almost would have been better if it was water surrounding it and they could just go in where it went in, right? And at least get to hit the next shot from the fairway. Be a little more.
It was tough.
Yeah,
It was tough.
it was, man.
You had to find a fairway.
It lived up to his expectations, I would say. Because again, I think with as much talk as there was, as much content that had come out from content creators, to how hard it was, how much of a beast it was, and you saw guys that we watch on a regular basis, like content creators, get torched. You're like, okay, this is gonna be cool. And then day one, it was like, what's going on here? No, it found its rhythm, and it gave them everything they asked for. The par three, the 300-yard par three, I feel like was, I wouldn't say easiest hole, but it really wasn't like I would say as much of a gauntlet as it.
I mean, it was the hardest hole in the course.
But I feel like they did
turned out to
well
be
with
hard.
it, just because they were pretty
Well,
dialed in with their 300-yard 3-woods or par drivers. I mean, I was kind of impressed. That's more so what I was at. We would, as regular golfers, we would be torched by that hole. I mean, it's an automatic 5.
yeah, we have no shot. I mean, there's no getting around it. We're trying to find extra juice to get it there, but it's placed downhill, and like they didn't make it 300 all week. It was 250 one time.
Oh,
and
okay,
there was a
yeah.
couple
Gimmies.
It was. I'm not saying gimmies, but they could hit a 4 or 5 iron and get it. There was a couple birdies on there, and the hole was supposed to play hard. It was the hardest hole on the golf course.
No, it did.
But it wasn't impossible, and that's kind of what we were looking for.
Yeah, it was more like, again, I wasn't complaining. It was more just like,
Right.
I was kind of like, and so I was just in awe of like, man, these guys, like in my opinion, they kind of showed it, just reminded you because they were just getting beat up all week. That hole came up, and I was like, look, it really didn't put them back like I maybe thought that it would. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't an impossible par. Maybe more impossible birdie, but it wasn't an impossible par. On to next week, quick little recap. We'll try to hop on before that tournament.
One more thing. I think the USGA did a great job this week and I don't say that very often, I think they set that course up perfectly. So
100%.
good,
I could.
good for them.
Yeah, look, outside of the crazy putt, we would have had a winner at even, which would have been really cool. I mean, nobody under par, but to get to the fact that your winner was under par and the way that he did it, I mean, he played. I mean, those last 2 holes were. I mean, those are go down in history as one of the greatest like stretches of 2 holes of golf. Probably
bird.
I mean, bird, but you're driving a par 4, you're putting for eagle, and you make what, a 90-footer? I mean, how long it was? I mean, like a pretty big bender.
64.8.
Yeah,
Left to right about a foot.
70-footer,
and it was down in a gully, up a hill. I mean,
through a pond. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's how you want that thing to go. I mean, it is as perfect as it could be for those guys. Now we head on to the Travelers, where the winner last year was Scotty Scheffler with -22. So a nice little cushion. Get these boys back on track, firing away. You know, let's get it back rocking and rolling here, and maybe Rory can find something here as we close out this back half of the golf season as we head on to.
If he plays,
great point. I mean, that's going to be a drama thing that we follow heading into next year. So I'm sure
yeah, I mean,
you know. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you're good. Go for it.
Usually after big majors, you'll see a couple guys who got to take a week off. I think guys are going to be chomping at the bit to go play this course, to go just remind themselves, like, no, I do know how to play golf. I just, last week was a dumpster fire. I can imagine those guys just ready to just get the hell. I would never want to go back. I was like, if they play there again, I'm like, I'm skipping this start of the Open. I'm not playing this thing. I'm not doing it.
So it's, going to the Travelers, it's hard to set this course up to, it's short. These guys, I think it's barely 7,000 yards. It might not even be that long. I mean, it's hard for these guys now. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to set these courses up the way these guys play golf now. If there's no wind or no nothing, they'll destroy this place again. But like you said, it is a good little. Okay, I'm not this terrible. I can shoot under par. Couple just a couple things, but like the Travelers, it's a fun golf course. If you enjoy golf, it is a fun. They have a drivable par 4. They have a par. It's the last couple holes are really fun. It's like a drivable par 4, and it's a par 3 over water, and it's a par 4 where you have to hit this little fairway, and then you got to hit it over the water. So it's a fun stretch of holes. It's a cool little golf course. I'm looking forward to it because it is a signature event. So, most of the guys that played this week will go play next week and play for a big purse.
Yeah, it was 3.5 million. So might be last year, so it could be a little more this year. So we'll probably have a show talking about that. But I think we need to digest this Open here for a bit. I'm sure there'll be some more things coming out that we can talk about later on in the week. But if you guys enjoy the content, you know what to do. Smash the like button, subscribe. Look, I will say one last little thing before we sign off. When I played Oakmont last week on Monday, I had no problems with it. So I shot 77. If you guys haven't seen that, go check it out. But I don't understand the struggles. I mean, just keep it in the fairway, boys. It's pretty easy. Hit it to the green. It gives you an automatic 2-putt on the game that I was playing. So be better, boys. I don't know what to tell you. That's Ty. I'm Shelton. Till next time, boys and girls. Peace and love, baby.